Do I really not have anything to hold? I think all of these books I need to talk about are ebooks. They are. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and we're going to talk about some of the recent fantasy books that I have read in the past week or two. I've been reading mostly fantasy for the past 2 weeks. I seem to be getting in these moods lately where I want to read all of one genre and all of another genre, and fantasy has been the genre of choice lately. So I thought I would lump all those together and we could talk about those really quickly. The top of the list, we'll go straight into it, is Strange Beasts of China, and this is by, and I am looking at a screen here, Yanji? I'll have it on the screen so you can see it. This is a really fun collection. It's really sad at times, but it's really intriguing and it really draws you in as a reader. The idea is that you're following this writer who's writing these stories and these columns for a paper, and they're about the beasts that live in this Chinese city. I would hazard to say this is almost a little science fiction as well, but it's very fantastical in the beasts manner. The beasts are different kind of beasts. So we have the sorrowful beast, we have the sacrificing beast. It's names like that, and the beast embodies the thing that their name indicates in some way, and it's always in a way you don't quite expect. And it really rang well to me. I don't know how to describe it. It's a translated work, so it has a distinct pace and style to it in that it's also vignettes too. I can't really describe. It's such a weird book. I heard about this one from Literature Science Alliance. We seem to have similar tastes when it comes to weird, almost literary, magical realism style works. This was a 5-star read for me, and I really can't describe it. I wish I could. But we follow this writer as she encounters these beasts to write these stories, and then covers like the history of this town that she's from and her own personal history. And she faces tragedy and loss and love, and it all wraps up in the end in a way I didn't see coming, but a way that made sense for the whole story. I just really enjoyed this. I definitely recommend it if it's something that sounds interesting to you. Like I said, it's kind of vignette short stories almost that tie together in a meta plot, but they're all about and centered on the idea of these different beasts that live among the humans, and they're all humanoid beasts. They have some physical characteristics that may mark them out, like gills. They're a different size or a different color, and they have some fantastical elements, but they're mostly humanoid, enough so that they can live with humans and breed with humans. So something, again, like I said, I would recommend if it sounds interesting, but it is a very weird book and one that may not be for everyone. So there you go. Well, I don't know what to say about that one. I just loved it. It's so hard to describe. The next one that I read, Heart Haunt Havoc. This is by Freydis Moon. This is a short urban fantasy sort of novella about a priest who goes to exercise or assist, not so much exercise, but clean a house for a client who has moved in, and they're trying to renovate and change the house around. It's got a budding romance in this. There's demon possession. There is a lot of religious iconography in this, and it's wild. There is a lot of diversity rep in this. You've got a trans main character, you have a non-binary character. Our priest character is struggling with the loss almost of his faith. He continues to hold to it desperately, but he also feels abandoned in a way due to some trauma and events that have happened in his past. Meanwhile, our client who owns the house, they are dealing with the loss of a partner and possibly how that ties into the house and what's happening to them right now. The cast of characters are really fun. They're really intriguing, and honestly, that's what kept me in the story. There came a point about halfway through for me where it felt a bit repetitious in its writing. We were getting the same thing said a couple of times in a row, said slightly differently, but it was just very repetitive at moments. So there was probably about at the halfway mark, halfway to 70%, where I got really aggravated. It felt sluggy. It felt like I was struggling, even with how short it was. So I ended up giving this one like a 3-star. I will definitely try more. There is a sequel to this, and I don't know how I feel about the sequel since it does one of the side characters I loved from this one. She was like a Norse witch and her magic was very intense. But the character that she gets paired off with is also in this novella, but he's not a nice guy. So I don't know how I feel about it. I will definitely try it if it's on KU just to see, but I'm on the fence on it. Hopefully I'll see what reviews say about it before I dive in, but I do recommend it if it sounds interesting to you. A sort of haunted house idea with one of the main characters coming to clean the house, to cleanse it, the other one struggling to renovate, who also has their own type of magic, and just the meeting of those worlds in this really urban fantasy setting. The next one that I really enjoyed was The Keeper 6 by Kate Elliott. I have this written down as a 4-star, but the more I think about it, the more I think I'm going to give it a 5-star. I have read Kate Elliott before when I was a kid, and I really liked her stuff then. I haven't read anything recently, so I was really excited to dive into a novella, and I am going to dive into another one as soon as I can. I have Servant Mage downloaded, and that is going to be read probably this week because this was so good. So the idea of The Keeper 6 is that our main character is an older woman. I think it talked like she was maybe in her 50s or 60s, and she was part of what was once a I think they were called a hex. It's been a week or so since I read this, but a unit of people who could travel between worlds and worked on behalf of a large consortium of like a council of different worlds that guided and gave tasks to these groups as they guarded Earth, but also went different places to do different jobs, right? And basically it's multiverse travel. Her son is kidnapped at the very, very beginning of the novella, first couple pages. And so she gets the band together to go save her son. And technically, they should not be doing this because technically her group is on suspension for shenanigans that she got them into in the past. And it talks about that and it goes into that. And we follow them as they cross into an interdimensional plane, the between, the beyond, and they meet a dragon. They go to its horde. They travel to different worlds to find out the mystery of where and what this dragon once came from. And it just, oh, I would read a whole book series in this world. I desperately want to know if Kate Elliott is writing more books set in this world because she has set this up in such a perfect, beautiful way. I really loved this. If you can't tell, this was fantastic for me. And like I said, the longer I sit on this, the more I absolutely love this. I want more of a lot of the characters in her hex, her unit, especially Kai. Just so many good things in this. I super recommend this if you like fantasy, if you like multi-dimensional travel, and it's short, so it's not too much or too much of a commitment, too much of a read. Just a 5-star read from me. And the final book that I'm going to talk about is The Warden by Daniel M. Ford. This is another 5-star for me. A begrudging 5-star, and I will go into that in a moment. But this is about I think you would pronounce her name Alice. Our main character, the titular warden, she graduates from this big college with all of these accolades. She is accredited, you might say, in 3 different schools of magic, and she gets assigned to this little backwater, outpost, end of the road sort of town when she wanted to be assigned to a big city to be the warden, which is like the sheriff, the justice of the peace, the town medic, all of these things. It's like the catch-all from the government for the people. She is sent there. When she gets there, her wizard's tower that she is meant to occupy has no roof. It's crumbling down. The townsfolk don't trust her nor like her because being certified in 3 schools, her primary one is necromancy. She's all in black, not really putting off a friendly vibe. And she basically has to build her life here with these people who don't know her, don't like her yet, and don't trust her. It was great. So this cover is gorgeous, but it gives action adventure vibes. the book is cozy. I would describe this as a cozy fantasy. This is going right next to Legends and Lattes for me. The latter half of the book does have some action. She goes off and leaves the town to search for someone. There is some fighting, but the humor and the tone throughout the whole book is just really cozy. And for me, it really felt like someone novelizing a D&D one shot or two shot based on the ending. That ending. And so maybe that lends the cozy feeling to it to me, but I super loved this. And on the D&D note, I am 99% sure that this book, the author is a fan of D&D or a DM or plays it. The magic system in this borrows heavily in some of the mechanics from Dungeons and Dragons, but it's adapted in such a way that unless you're looking for it, you may not see it. And it's really cleverly done. He has taken some of the mechanics from D&D that I've not seen adapted well in a novel before and put it into the story, but also elaborated on it and embellished it to such a point where it feels really genuine and really unique. And I really loved this. I'm actually going to buy my own copy as soon as I can. I had an arc of this on NetGalley, and it's so good, so good. The humor is also spot on for this one. Now, the begrudging part is that the ending of this book, I was in chokehold on this book. I was stuck in it. And when the ending came, that last word, I dropped my Kindle on my lap and turned and looked at my husband and said, "What am I supposed to do with that? There's nothing more. That's the end. How is this the end?" So the begrudging 5 stars is the fact that I'm furious that the cliffhanger ending was where it was at. I am so mad I have to wait for the next book. I am so excited for it, but I'm so mad. This book just came out like last week. Oh my god, fuck it. I'm mad. As my daughter would say, I'm mad. It was great. I would give it like a 4.5 if I'm gonna be nitpicky, but I'm not. It's getting a 5 star from me. I can't not give it a 5 star. I loved this. I sent a message to my group wizard, my D&D group wizard. She always plays the casters. I said, look this book up, download it. I don't care how you get it, read it. You're gonna love it. Fantastic book. Definitely recommend it for my D&D fans. In fact, I made a short. It should be up already. Great book. But those are the fantasy books that I have read recently. A lot of urban fantasy and like more paranormal stuff, but all of it I really liked. Like I said, Heart Haunt Havoc was probably the lowest on the list, but it was still fun. I still finished it. I'll probably still read more from this author. So overall, almost all these, frankly, I would recommend if you like any of the sounds. But that is it for my fantasy wrap up. If you've read any of these, if you have thoughts on any of them, questions, concerns, anything like that, let me know down below. I will talk to you guys again soon. Like, comment, subscribe, as always, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.